So you guys have obviously seen quite a lot of my other setup, which is my TV setup, where I do 99.9% of my gaming. However, the other 1% of the time, I'm probably sitting here, and the 90% of the time that I am here, I'm actually not gaming. This is where all the work is done. This is where I do all the editing for the YouTube videos. This is where I do all my personal work. So my work for where I'm currently working at the university, things like that. I'm also doing research, so I research here. This is where I do all my work that is not related to the YouTube channel. So it's kind of this halfway point between the two worlds. I try not to game here, but I have made it in such a way that it is very capable of doing so. However, what you're seeing now is the final product of something that I started a good few years ago, and through the use of, or through just me using the setup, it kind of gets dirty and messy, and then I don't actually want to sit here and game. I mark a lot of papers. I use this desk for that, so I kind of just clear off pretty much everything you see here, so the keyboard, mouse pad, and then I just have a blank space where I sit and I mark. When I'm doing my editing and stuff, I will sit here and I do all of my editing here. But it's always this thing where I don't want to sit here and game, because it's never felt like a proper gaming space, even though I do have a decent gaming monitor. This is a 144Hz LG 24-inch Full HD monitor. Yes, it's not 4K, yes, it's not 1440p, but for just more competitive games, the most competitive type games that I generally play, or even just if I want to close the experience, maybe I want to start following trophy guides or something like that, where I'm getting through those last few steps of a platinum trophy, I can use the secondary monitor here as the trophy guide. So that's all these type of things that I do on this setup. I do play games on this setup, and I do intend on using this setup a lot more in the coming weeks and coming months, because I actually want to start doing a little bit more streaming for you guys. Maybe we'll do some before this video goes live, I don't know, but I did want to make this video and show you guys what this setup does look like and what it looked like before this. So let's hop into what it looked like before this, and you'll see the changes that have gone into this. It's kind of just the room, or the area where I was in, was messy, it was untidy, and it needed a little bit of a pick-me-up, and that's what we gave this room. And now it's somewhere where I actually want to come sit, play games, and maybe do my work every now and then. So let's hop into that first video. I mean, as you can see, it's just a mess. That shouldn't be there. You can't even open the cupboard. There's a board that goes up there that I'm gonna put back up, but it doesn't matter right now. It's just, there's too much stuff. My TV box, all of this is all over the show. So we're gonna basically take everything out of this side of the room. Behind me on that side is something that you guys don't need to see. It's my fiance's desk setup, and she's that's where she works, so it's not really important to this. This all has to change though. There's things here that don't even need to be here. This is the microphone that's usually sitting on our normal setup, so that needs to go back there. The MacBook or the Mac is sitting up here. There's papers under the desk over there. It just all needs to be cleared out, and we're gonna have a fresh canvas to work on. And I think then we'll have a much better depiction of what this place looks like, because at the moment it's just everything is all over the show, and it doesn't need to look like this. And the best part about this project is I don't want to spend a single cent. It's just built on the stuff that I already have here, and I think that's going to work out very well. So without further ado, let's hop into just clearing everything out. So now that all the big pieces have been moved out, we've gotten rid of the shelf here. It will come back in, don't stress. And then over here we have moved the box. The box actually contains a whole bunch of PlayStation stuff that I haven't used in a while, and other bits and bobs. So now we're going to actually move on to the actual desk, and we're just going to clear everything off so that we have a blank space. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. My broken band, if you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you'll know that this was always on my left hand. But my lovely puppy decided that she didn't like it, so she took it off. Okay, now that that's all clear, I think the next order of business is give it a little bit of a vacuum and then shift everything over. I think I want to put the desk in the corner, just to make the space this side a little bit bigger. Maybe put that shelf back in. I don't think I'll be using the shelf, so just having it in here for extra storage space is definitely a major win already. I want everything to be kind of contained to this desk setup, but obviously a big part is just to shift everything over. So yeah, let's begin with that, cleaning, shifting it over, and then we can maybe start looking at reassembling the desk and putting it into a nice setup. Well, I decided to do something and it made a lot of mess, so we're probably going to have to clean that up. Doubt you guys can see in here, but you can see all the dust over here. But it needed to be done to do what I want to do in terms of how I want to set up everything. I had put holes at the back here, but on that side, and that wasn't going to work for me. I needed it on this side. So yeah, I just had to quickly drill in a hole, and that will make sense in just a moment. So that's all cleaned up. Now it's time to start putting things a little bit more back together, and you guys will get a better understanding of how my whole system functions. Now we drilled a hole in the back there, still can't see it. Give me a sec. There you go. Now you can see it a little bit better. As you can see, this desk has been through a little bit, but that hole in there is just to let my HDMI cables and my power cable come through for my Mac Mini. Now my Mac Mini is what actually powers this whole YouTube channel. So if you are watching this, say thanks to the Mac Mini, because the Mac Mini does pretty much all the heavy lifting in terms of editing and things like that. I did have a hole in that corner, but I don't want the Mac Mini in that corner. I want it specifically in this corner because then it's the shorter cable run to the monitors, and I don't want too much stress on the cables. Plus the power button is on this side. There's a whole multitude of reasons why the Mac Mini is going to live on this side and no longer live on the desk, even though it is easier to access on the desk, and which means you have easier access to the ports, but I'll sort that out down the line. For now, it's just very important that the Mac Mini goes in here, so that we have a better functioning desk. So yeah, let's hop into putting everything on, and then I'll give you a run through. So the funny thing with plans is they very rarely work out 100% how you think they are. So my initial plan here was to put the Mac Mini in here and put it the right way around, right? That didn't quite work out. So now it's sitting a bit sideways and all the cables are coming out this end. Now initially this seems a bit myth, but then I kind of looked at it and I realized this actually isn't a bad thing, because then I still have access to my USB ports at the back here, which is something that I would have been losing. So plans might not always work out 100% the way you want them to. So one door closed and another door open. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to treat it as that. It's still going to be function over form a bit, but at least I can turn the top part of the desk into something a little bit more eye-pleasing than what I had originally, with all my cables hanging out the back and barely any of them fitting through the cable grommet in the corner there. So let's hop back into time lapses and see what happens next. So as you can see, we are pretty much done. We got it in its basic form. There's still a few things that I want to do, and obviously this is a PlayStation channel. So where's the PlayStation? Well, what I did quite a while ago is I actually put in cables here so that whenever I want to just move my PlayStation to what I consider like a little bit more of a competitive area, or an area where I want to be more up close to the action, so in games like Helldivers and Star Wars Battlefront 2, I have the ability to just move it between setups, which is fantastic. I love having that flexibility. And I do have to give a massive shout out to Spawn Point. So Spawn Point back in the day, before he had so many PlayStations, shout out to you, dude. I doubt you watch this, but he did something incredible. He grew his YouTube channel without even showing his face that much. He spoke proper facts, and he gave me this idea. This idea works fantastically. On this side, we have an IKEA pegboard, and if you know, in South Africa, we don't actually get these. So I managed to pick this up, or I picked quite a few up when I was in Germany, and these were one of the main things that I wanted to bring back. Luckily, they pack nice and flat, so they were easy enough to transport. They are fantastic. I love this. I have my storage here with an iPad or iPod mini, so all my USB drives are in there. Pens, highlighters, because I actually still like using highlighters. The pens, if you're wondering why I have so many red pens, well, part of my day job is I mark papers, so unfortunately I have to have a lot of red pens, and I had never finished a red pen before in my life, or a pen before in my life, and then I started marking and I finished like 5 or 6 every few months. It's actually just crazy how many pens you go through while being a marker. And no, I'm not one of those markers that write all over the papers. It's just from ticking and using crosses. It's crazy, but yeah, that's why I have red pens. But yeah, let's take this one step further. And here we have it. It is now in its most complete form that we're going to get it in. It looks amazing. I am so happy with how it came out, and it just proves that tidying up a little can help quite a lot. So let's go through all the individual sections. So let's start right out top with the front here. We have two 24-inch monitors. One is an LG and one is a Rogueware. I don't know where Rogueware comes from, but this is a very cheap monitor that I got, and all I needed it for was this secondary display, so I wasn't going to spend the same amount of money that I spent on my main display on a display that's basically just for reading articles. So if we look here, the LG is 144 Hertz 1080p. I know 1080p, but it's very difficult to find 4K 24-inch screens, and with the size of my desk, 24-inch screens is kind of the way to go. So yeah, that's those. Then we have the Creative Cloud Pebbles, very popular speakers that you get pretty much everywhere. I've got to rep my favorite controller of all time. So when you're going to play competitive games, you've got to get that competitive edge. So the DualSense Edge in its 30th anniversary colorway is right here, so that's awesome. Obviously the PS5 here, this is the silver plates, which kind of match the 20th or 30th anniversary aesthetic that I'm going for. I love the DualSense Edge box. I like the normal DualSense box as well. That yellow on the side here just pops very well, and I like to have that. Underneath we have the Mac Mini, the hard drive there, old MacBook, and then just a few things that I use every now and then, iFixit kit and a set of pens. On the side here we have my pegboard, and that has a slot here for all my different storage devices and an iPod mini, or iPod Nano, just because I can. So in there obviously it's just some USB sticks. When you create as much content as I do, or try to, it starts to stack up and you need places to store them. Luckily for now I don't need a NAS, but that is coming very very soon. I have some highlighters and some pens. Then over here I have a speaker, and then just some cleaning supplies that I use every now and then. I haven't figured out what to put at the bottom yet. I love these cables whenever I do get to use them. And if you do look, that's my one non-PlayStation console, and it is a Nintendo 3DS from my Pokemon phase, and I still love that thing. I'm never going to get rid of it. It's probably going to be my only non-PlayStation console for a very long time. Who knows, maybe I'll get a Switch at some point, but for now that's gonna live there because it does need a little bit of a place to live. Other little highlights and touches are over here. Sorry, these cables should not be falling down like that. It's my Honda NSX 2002 Type R that one of my best mates got me. Then we have my Valentine's gift from my fiance a couple of years ago, and it's all these little touches that just bring the desk together. I do want it to remain as clean and as aesthetically pleasing as possible, but obviously you just want to add a little bit of a touch of personality as well. Guys, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.